I just learned some jazz today, it's true. He just learned some jazz today, and you.
What's up, everybody? This is Kirk, the producer of Passion to Profit. And on behalf of Liz and Vince, I want to thank you for tuning in today. You've probably noticed we've switched our release cadence a little bit to every other week instead of every week. That'll give you a little more time to get acquainted with each episode. And it allows Vince and Liz to spend a little more time doing what they really love to do, which is creating and slaying it in the business world. So to that end, I want to share today an interview that Vince had back in September of 2020 with Irie Kitchen. She has a podcast called Amplify. Go check out her feed, which we've linked in the show notes. But this is an interview that Vince did with her. It kind of lets you listen to Vince in a different capacity, less of a host, more of a guest, of course. Have a listen, let us know what you think. And of course, in 2 weeks, we'll be sharing Liz's appearance on the Amplify podcast, which will give you another glimpse behind the curtain with Liz. So we hope you enjoy these. We hope everyone's doing well. Spring is here. Enjoy this episode. Peace out, everybody.
And you gon' learn some jazz today, yes, you gon' learn, you gon' learn, you gon' learn.
Hello and welcome to the AMPLIFY Show. I'm Irie Kitchen, former TV news reporter turned media entrepreneur. I've spent my entire career shining a spotlight on inspiring people doing incredible things. In each episode, I share an interview or message to help you amplify your business and your life. Thanks for joining me and get ready to amplify. Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, I'm interviewing Vincent Mcintosh. He is the 23-year-old owner of the Irie Kitchen restaurant that's here in West Michigan. And if you listen to my previous episode, that's actually a replay of when I was interviewed by Vince and Liz from the Irie Lemon podcast. Now, Vince started his business, his restaurant, when he was only 19 years old. But as you're about to find out, being an entrepreneur is just a part of his DNA and his blood. And we talk about being a restaurant owner during a pandemic. All restaurants are hit very hard right now and just coming through to the other side. His positive outlook, he is such a winner, which I appreciate about him. And winners, as you're going to find out, they can never really get down. You can never really crush a winner. They find ways around, they find ways through, and they're stronger because of the challenges they face. And they become more resilient. And that is very much the attitude that Vince has. So in this podcast, we're kind of like two friends, just getting to know each other, catching up. We met through Liz. And he and I just connect so well because we're both Enneagram 3s. And he is such a hustler. And it makes me smile because I was just in that exact hustle mode for the last, about 7.5 years. And I've just really slowed down from it. And I love so much that energy, though. And I understand exactly where he's at and his desire to figure a way out of this pandemic in business. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he comes up with here in the future. He's already launching a mastermind with Liz. So if you check out their podcast, the Irie Lemon podcast, highly recommend it. They talk all about their mastermind that they're launching this fall. And they do all kinds of pop-up events here if you're, around the West Michigan area. And with that, though, we're just going to jump in. And I hope if you're in a place of transition or with business, you're making a pivot, then I think Vincent's attitude and his philosophy and his positive energy is really going to serve you well. So hope you enjoyed this one. How's it going? Are you just still winning? You over there winning?
Yo, low-key a little bit, yeah.
Or introduce yourself to the audience, because I know some people have heard of you because I was on your podcast, the Irie Lemon podcast.
Yeah, so I'm Vincent Mcintosh. I'm 23 years old. I own a Caribbean restaurant in West Michigan called Irie Kitchen. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've been attempting to win my whole life. And I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's pretty much about Vince.
Crunchy or creamy peanut butter?
Monday through Friday, creamy. On the weekends, I can go crunchy.
Oh, look at you. Yeah. I'm into the crunchy peanut butter now. Yeah. Natural. You got to stir it 100 times.
Yeah. You just eat in the morning, right? That's why I say the weekends, I have more time. You know?
Yeah, there you go.
I can save 15 minutes. And do you go organic peanut butter or do you get the conventional stuff?
Both. Whatever is available. I try to buy the organic stuff, but I'll buy a big old jar of Jif peanut butter.
So what I found, you go Jif, you go creamy, better than anything in the world for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I just don't want to pay extra money for not as good creamy peanut butter. But then they have like this, is it Nature's Way? They're like crunchy peanut butter, top of the notch. It's like they get their creamy one, they just put chunks of peanuts in it. It's just like so good.
Yes.
All right, that's enough about peanut butter. Though.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, a whole podcast on peanut butter. Okay, let's cut to the chase. So, Vincent, I love your passion for winning in life, in business. Let's rewind a little bit, and I want to dive into where that comes from, because you said you've been an entrepreneur your whole life. So when did that really start? Because I know you didn't come out of the womb like already making sales, but
pretty young though. Like I ask my parents, like, yo, was I always like when did you guys realize that I was about making money? And so there's like crazy stories. I must have been like 6, 7 years old, and I was like, I'm not going to college. I'm gonna open 217 restaurants. Like that, I was like always that kind of kid. I had lemonade stands. I had a regular lemonade stand. I had a pink lemonade stand. The pink lemonade was $2 more. Like all the girls in the neighborhood worked for me. Like I had a loan shark business. I always was trying to make money, and it wasn't like I understood money. I just liked having it. If that makes sense. I liked the way it looked. I liked it to be clean, and it's just like more just having it. And I also like make jokes that like I come from a super hardworking family and like kind of culture, and I'm the laziest one. And so I was always trying to find ways to like not do the work and profit off it. Right. So like, I was like, you know what? Like we can just use our brains. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to work. I don't have to cut everybody's grass in the neighborhood. I can get all my friends to do it for free or for super cheap.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so that was kind of like my thinking always. It didn't really get serious till I was about 17 years old. That's when I started like really start doing stuff outside.
Yeah, because you opened your restaurant when you were what, 19?
Yeah, 19 turning 20. Yeah, 20 years old was like the official. Yeah. So
is it the same location where you're at right now? Is that where you opened and where you've been?
Yeah. So actually, long story short, I was trying to get in different locations, but no one took me seriously. You know, because I was 19. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm opening a restaurant, and they were like quiz me and drill me, and they're like. I'm like, no, I'm seriously gonna do it. And but like they didn't really. I don't think they really believed it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have invested all my own money. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Do you have funding? How did you like? What does it take to open a restaurant at 19?
So obviously, I didn't have like $500,000 saved, so I wasn't like gonna build from the ground up. So I was looking for a turnkey space. I had about like 60 saved, and so I just like basically just took all that money and I just like threw it into the business.
60 saved. You sold a lot of lemonade as a kid.
Oh yeah, I was hustling, yo. Like anything I could do to make money, I did it.
19, just have 60 in the bank is really impressive.
Oh yeah, I came from a different company. I did sales for a local agency in town. That's where I made a lot of money too. And I was just always down to work, always down for opportunity, like always down. I had a cleaning company like a year and 6 months ago, just cause. For no reason at all. You know what I'm saying?
But that's hard work. I mean, talk about trying to hack your way to the easy money. Cleaning company does not seem like the easy money.
Oh,
unless
no.
you found the people to hire.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I kind of fizzled out because I couldn't get people to hire. But our first month or so, we were getting a lot of sales in. And I was like, this could work. But then like the people there's tips. Don't do a cleaning company unless you're going to be in it.
Yeah, yeah. Come clean my house. You will earn every penny of that.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of work. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What I got myself into.
So you are, wow. So that's, you have an anniversary of your business then.
Oh yeah, I had it. So July 24th was our 3rd year anniversary.
Congrats.
So that was last week. Yeah, it's kind of surreal. I was like, man, it's been 3 years. And it feels like a long time, but also feels like a very short time. Right.
What are some of your biggest lessons in launching your first, let's call this like your first official brick and mortar business, right? This is your first brick and mortar.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It was super humbling. I mean, I think a lot of things that I learned was that like it's more than just what you can do, especially in a brick and mortar business. Like you need people. Like I can't do everything all the time, every single day. And it's a challenge, especially in West Michigan. And it's a challenge about where I'm at too. And so, you know, I guess like some of the like the biggest things is like be patient and like just work like heads down, just work your ass off, man. Like this, like every day I wake up, I'm like, man, this is so hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like not impossible, but you just got to be on it all the time. Like you're not off, you know?
Do you ever want to wake up one day and have it not be hard, or are you living for that struggle?
I'm in a weird position where like I'm changing now, right? Like I always tell people like, yo, 3 years in the restaurant business, that will determine if you got it or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And part of me like likes like the challenges every day and likes the climb the mountain every day. The other part of me is like, yo, I'm not trying to do this when I'm 40. You know, I'm not trying to be on the same hustle and bustle, like high stress lifestyle, you know? Like I want to win and be successful, but I don't want to do it at the cost of my health and well-being. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of shifting for me as I'm like 23. Like, I don't know.
That is a good time to be making this realization, because as you know, I've lived that hustle and that mentality for a very long time. And in the same boat, when I was a news reporter, eventually I looked around the newsroom. I was like, I looked at the people that would be who I was when I was like 50, 60.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be in that position then. And then running a PR agency, then I started to think, wait, let me look at other people who run agencies that are like, should be retiring now. Do I want to be in that position?
Yeah.
No. And so eventually like dawned on me, wait a minute, I need to really have a clear picture of the end and when I want the end to be. Cause I actually, I don't want to be hustling still at 65 and not able to have an exit out of a business that I put so much into. And so as you know, that's really hit me at age 35. Can you believe I'm about to turn 36 in like a week or two.
Well, congrats on that.
You didn't know I was that old, did you?
No, but that's still young though. 36, PR firm, hustling, you built a nice business. That's still you're still
23.
very.
This is, although this is very, like I'm not going to find a lot of 23-year-olds to come on the podcast that have been in business for a few years.
True. I'm definitely an like exception to the rule for sure. But like, as you're saying that, I agree with you though. Like that's what happened. I started locally getting around all these folks, and they're amazing people, but I don't want to be like any of them.
Yeah.
No,
So
like,
how do you
like,
find your
like,
people?
huh?
How do you find your people? Well, twofold. How do you find, do you find other young people in the same boat as you, in the same mentality? Because that's so rare. And then two, how do you find the people that inspire you and push you forward?
So there's it's hard finding people my age for sure who like actually have something tangible and who are working on it on a daily basis. There's a lot of kids my age who have Instagram accounts and maybe like a Weebly, right? Like, but like actually running a business, I don't really know a lot of people who are really doing it. I probably know about 5 people, and we talk here and there, and we just all like keep up with each other and make sure help each other where we can. But a lot of it, like I have a lot of older friends who are business people, and I just like try to make relationships with people who are doing the things I want to be doing or who I just admire, right? And so, hence you're on our Irie Lemon podcast. I'm friends with Liz, and she's in her 30s, and she's a mom. And,
old people like Liz, huh?
yeah, like not old people
Tell
like
her
Liz.
you said
If
that.
you're hearing this, Liz, I'm sorry.
Liz, tune out now.
But I'm just saying, like in general, like people like that, like who are a little older, who are more seasoned in business, like I can learn a lot from you guys, and that's who I want to spend my time with more, versus than people that like can only get from me. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and then likewise, I'm sure they glean so much from you, and you bring a lot of inspiration and kind of help them see things from another standpoint, and also just kind of give them that energy that they used to have and remind them of it. Because like one of my greatest friends and mentors and colleagues, he's in his 50s, and we are such like a good team together, and he has like all the wisdom, and then he's always like, Emily, you keep me young, because I'll give him the latest digital marketing strategy or influencer thing no idea existed. And so I find that's a good pairing to have both in life.
Yeah, it's like that mentor-mentee relationship, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like a perfect flow, especially when you're both are still trying to grow and continue to do the thing you're up to. Like, but yeah, but for anyone in the audience, it's super difficult, especially in West Michigan. I feel like if maybe Chicago, Detroit, a bigger city, you might find a lot more young people doing stuff with tangible things. But I mean, I still enjoy the city though. It's fun.
What's keeping you here then? Why not? I mean, you're young, you've figured things out. Why not go to a bigger city where you could really take what you've learned and dominate there?
My family is the biggest thing. Like, I want to make sure my family's taken care of, and I support my family, and so I really want to make sure that they're good before I leave. And also, like, I'm not one of those people that thinks, like, Detroit will fix all my problems or LA will fix all my problems. Like, no, I still got to start from ground zero when I go to LA. No one knows who I am. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when I make those bets, I kind of want to have a little bit more under my belt and make sure my family's taken care of before I make all those big jumps. And it's a hard decision because I really, all the time, I'm like giving opportunities to go do stuff. And I'm always like, nah, I'll stay here for right now,
Yeah, you're gonna end up like
Definitely
me
hard.
and never leave. You know that.
Well, that's the thing. I'm scared that I'll just live here and die here, to be honest.
No,
And like, but I don't know if that's so bad sometimes.
that's not exactly. Maybe I say that now because I'm like gonna live here and die here. But when all of this passes, I'm sure there'll be a lot of travel opportunities. Maybe you'll have your own like travel cooking entrepreneur show. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
like there we go. I can spend a few weeks. It's weird though, because I spend extended period of times in different places, and I definitely need trees. So I can't live anywhere where there's no trees. I get like claustrophobic. I get freaked out. I was in London for a couple months, and I was like, "Where are the goddamn trees?" You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Like,
No trees
yeah,
there.
it was like there's like no trees, bro. And I was just like, I can't do this.
That's
Like,
weird.
I need trees. I need land. I'm like spoiled because of West Michigan.
I know it is gorgeous here. Well, let's talk about the last few months. You were just chumming along, business as usual, and then we have this global pandemic and a state order that closed your restaurant. So
Yeah.
how did you get through that?
Yeah. So after the announcement, restaurant was closed, and actually I'm always I like risk. I like dangerous things. And so I wasn't as worried as I think I should have been. I kind of, we'll be closed and we'll be back open. So I kind of thought we'd be closed for like a month max and we'll be back open. Then I got to the second month and the third month. And I was like, okay, I'm burning through savings. I can't be closed.
Yeah.
But I gotta go make some money. And so it was definitely like, in a sense, like really like exciting to like take on a new challenge. And so once like things started clearing up, we reopened back. But before all that, obviously, this, like my windows got busted and like.
Yeah. So side story, people don't know, as protests started happening, Grand Rapids actually had some pretty large protests that happened. But downtown, and your restaurant really far from downtown, like not walkable by any means or anything. And you had vandalism to your restaurant that,
Exactly.
but it really ended surprisingly. I think it was Liz put up that GoFundMe for you, and the community pulled together, and did that surprise you, like the level of support?
Oh yeah, what the fuck? That's like that was like the biggest thing. And the craziest thing, I did not want the GoFundMe. I was like really like, no, because in times I can be very prideful, and I can be like, I've only relied on myself for everything I've ever done. So it's weird for me to take like a handout in a sense. Like it's really hard for me, right?
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I know
me,
your spirit.
And I was like, there's no way fucking I'm taking a GoFundMe, right? And Liz was like, I don't care. I'm doing it, basically. And I was kind of really mad at her. I didn't talk to her for like that day, for most of that day. So I know like Liz is also stubborn. So like, she's going to do it, period. Yeah. So like, it is what it is. And then she like came to me and she was like, yo, and she showed me like the GoFundMe. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy, And I kind of like encouraged me even more and kind of like reset the fire. Right? Because like, okay, the community answered. Like, they want us here. They want us to be around.
So why did you ever get to the bottom of the vandalism and who and why?
We have like a video, but we didn't get the license plate. Like the detectives are looking into it.
Because people came in through bricks, or what was it?
Okay, so this is what's weird. It was like a couple days after the protest. It happened at like 1:30, 2 a.m. in the morning, and it was thunderstorming and raining. Like who? Like what? Right? And then you see this blue car pull up. So you guys see anybody with a blue Ford Focus, ask them if they busted some windows lately.
Ford Focus.
And it looked like they had a hammer or like a window breaking thing, and they started busting all the windows, and it's like a point where they kind of look back. So I don't know if someone like saw them doing that, or like if he got spooked or what. But then like after that, they kind of like got out of there pretty quick. So
yours was the only business in the whole area.
Only business in the whole area.
That's wild.
And it's like, that's kind of weird. And so like a lot of people were like, that day before, or that same day actually, like we were getting a lot of press, like all Black businesses locally were. And so like a lot of people felt like that attracted somebody to come, right? And I'm like, well, I don't want to like reach that far, but it definitely was weird because like no other businesses got hit. You know, you're gonna break windows to prove a point. You should probably break the Wendy's next to me. Or, I don't know.
Right. Oh my goodness. So that, well, luckily the community, like the support was louder than the damage, right? And so
Yeah.
hopefully that, I mean, I'm sure you still feel it's, I mean, I once had someone break into my car, like very minor thing, right? And I felt so violated. Like that's if you've never had anything stolen or broken into, and I felt very unsafe after, which you might not, like you're a pretty tough dude, so you might not feel this way. I felt very unsafe because someone went into my garage, broke into my car, and I saw like their blood on some glass. Like, all around, I just felt so violated. Like that is my area.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you're just left. I'm sure there's like those feelings left, but hopefully
100%.
You're feeling the love of community stronger than that.
Yeah, the community like brought it back. My two things is lying and stealing. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate people that do that kind of stuff. And for me, it was just like, I was just trying to figure out why. Like, I was like, I don't know why. Like, but I got over it. I'm still like, it's still in the back of my head. Like, man, like who did it? I'm just curious. Like, not necessarily like get them in trouble or be angry. Just like what's the point? Like, what was your motivation behind all of this? But like you said, like the community supported and now we're back. I mean, the restaurant industry got completely dismantled during this whole COVID thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's kind of like a lot of opportunity to like be better, but also it's like kind of like, man, like I see people closing down things and it's just kind of like sad, right? And so it's like I'm excited to like build a better business, but I'm also like, you know, don't know what the future has to hold for all of us, you know?
Yeah. Does it inspire you to look for a more pandemic-proof industry or model?
100%. Like I've been hot on like outputs and outcomes, right? And I've been like, you know, what is your output versus what your outcomes are? Like restaurant, like you have to love it. You're putting 100+ hours in a week. It's not the most profitable thing, right? But like you're working your ass off. Like you're working hard as any doctor, as any nurse on a busy night, right? We're not really seeing the financial benefit all the time from it. And it's risky, right? Even during perfect times, a restaurant can fail. People decide not to go anymore, right? And I think the cost of food and the cost to set up, like that all has to be figured out and reworked and like completely dismantled. Like the fact that it costs $1 million to build a restaurant, that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot of money just as startup costs before employees.
You're so strong on building a business. Like you're going to be so strong when you go to build your next thing, because you're going to have your numbers and your formulas so honed in, you know, because it's all math. It has to make sense. Your expenses, the money coming in and going out, all of it has to make sense. And I keep thinking that about these restaurants. Or now it was just announced that bars have to close again inside service. It's like, what about these bars that went out on a limb? They really, to bring people back, to start ordering their food supply and their alcohol supply and getting all that back, which is such an upfront expense. And now it's all shut down. And they had to go through and like map out protocols of, you know, social distancing and hand sanitizers and all this stuff. They put in all this expense and time, and now they're shut down again. It's like, we're just going to be left all drinking in each other's front yards, and hopefully you'll be whipping up some food. Like,
yeah, like I think there's a chance for food trucks to pull up to people's neighborhoods. But yeah, like when it all started, like, and you know, got on a few like Zoom calls, and I didn't think people liked me that much. They're all like being like either super soft about it, crying, or overly optimistic. I'm like, yo, we're all fucked. Like, I don't know how many times you guys can get some open and close, right? Like, if you've been a really successful business for over 15 years, you probably have more profit. You've probably seen a lot of things. I'll give you 5 times you can open and close before you're like, I can't do this anymore, right? Yeah. Now, the great thing about liquor is that like once you buy it, there's no expiration date. It can like stay for a little bit. So you're good. But all the bar that did heavy food and heavy drink, like all that stuff that they bought that was fresh is in the trash now.
Or it's still their capital they had to like put out, and
Exactly.
they eventually got to sell it. I know what's really hard right now too is just the amount of people that just don't understand this. The amount of people are like, and I know it's hard to close your business, but what's also hard is people dying. They're trying to say the right thing, but they don't understand how the world works. And what's also devastating is people being out of jobs, people going into poverty, people not going and getting all their healthcare checkups like they should be, children not going to school where their food source and nutrition's coming from. Like the long-term economic and health impact of this, I think is going to far outweigh the lives that we're saving from shutting down and shutting down and shutting down and shutting down.
Oh yeah, I agree with that because, and so I think you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's where like a lot of businesses are at right now, right? And I also think it's like, well, what do we value and what is our objective? What are we trying to get done? I think we live in a world where everyone's so split that we don't really know. Like we don't know what the objective is, right? Like is the objective to save businesses or save like people, and like what is the long tail effect? If you watch the economy was on limbo before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So now everyone thinks that like everything's like going to be amazing after. Like, once everything gets back to normal, we'll be back. Like, no. Like some business has been closed for almost a year. They're not coming back. And definitely not hiring 20,000 people back. They just laid off 20,000. Like, what do you think is actually going to happen? Like, this is going to affect the economy, going to affect everyday people. And like, I don't know. I just feel like in times like this, it's what is necessary, not really what's right or wrong. You have to make decisions on what's necessary. We got to look at like, what do we got to do? Not versus feelings and whatever. What are the facts and what do we have to do? Like we have to make necessary calls, not right or wrong ones. I think everyone's still stuck on what's right or what's wrong. Like we don't know until 10 years from now.
And I think this is what defines like a business owner or entrepreneur that will stay in business and survive this, and ones that won't. The hardest decisions to be made are the ones where you have to take your emotion out of it. You have to lay people off, or you have to turn down certain business, take on certain business you wouldn't normally. You have to make decisions based on logic. And that is so hard to do right now. And, but if you don't, and that's going to be a lot of hard decisions and hard times, but if you don't, you're not going to see it through. And, I was lucky. Like I took this as an opportunity to just totally shift my model and make a lifestyle more that I wanted. And I'm really glad I was able to do that. But for some people, it'll just be like literally saying goodbye to the thing that they've worked hard for.
Yeah. I do think that we're going to need more free market capitalism. We're going to need more people doing like side businesses that may not necessarily be the biggest thing in the world, but like can help push this economy. Like people who just got laid off, I need you guys to start your crochet business. I need you to start making your jam. We need you to like, even if it's $75K a year, right, that you gross and your costs are $20K, like you still make a decent living, right? Like we need you to start doing stuff, right? We need you to like, if we want it not to be as bad, right? And if you want to not be a victim, right? If you want to be able to like not be victimized by all this, you have to take some things into your own hands, you know? You
don't want to be a defunct government employee for the rest of your life and just like waiting on handouts the whole time. Like you need to be active.
That's not what America's all about. You know what I'm saying? And like, and
Meatloaf is ready, by the way. I heard that going out.
I'm I'm doing a photo shoot later today, so I'm just getting food ready. So always hustling, always doing something.
You're always doing something.
That's not what America's about. And I do care about people. I do want people to be taken care of, right? Yeah. And so it's hard when you're like, socially, yes, like I want to make sure people are taken care of, but like we talk about economic, like, you know, you gotta be smart about that.
Oh yeah. The restaurant businesses are feeling that the hardest of, we want to support people, but we also want people to want to go back to work. And that's really tough.
That was really bad anyway. We don't want you guys to come back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we want all the really good people who are willing, and it's hard because they're making more money on unemployment right now.
So let's talk about, Vincent, how you are going to be making a shift and what you're offering online, because we know that is a bit more economic and pandemic proof. So what do you have cooking?
So my biggest thing is shifting my restaurant to a direct-to-consumer brand. And so I still want to operate the restaurant, but it's going to be limited hours. And it's more of that, using that to market our products and using the brand we've built so far and scaling that up. I think that's like just a long tail of a business. I think it's a better business for me to build, and it kind of aligns with things that I'm good at, right? And I just think there's a lot of opportunity there, right? If I can sell my curry goat around the nation, that's a way better business for me than relying on 30 people, 50 people, 150 people to come in on a Wednesday, right? And I can support our staff behind that better and easier lifestyle. I feel like I'm not like always having to be in the grinding it out, you know? And so that's kind of where, big picture, where I'm kind of going with Irie is like, how fast can I get there? What are the right pivots to do? And at the same time, like currently, like all these restaurants are failing right now, and like people are asking me to come into their spaces, right? So it's like, there's like an opportunity flow coming that way, which is interesting. I'm trying to stay true to what I'm trying to build. So I think 5 years from now, that's really what's going to matter. It's like, can you turn your restaurant concept into a direct-to-consumer brand that can like really crush and kill, right? Because like that's all that's gonna matter. Like, I think the franchise model is like basically dead unless you get like millions of dollars invested in you to do that, right? So you're gonna have to be able to touch a lot of people through digital footprint. Yeah. So how you're gonna do that is where my brain is kind of more thinking currently. Is like, that's the business. We already have a kitchen, so we have a production facility technically.
Yeah. Sounds brilliant to me. Then you can upsell them all your like pink lemonades and whatnot.
Go back to my childhood. That's basically like my dream goal is to like get back to when I was like 11 years old, like that happy, you know?
Likewise, it should be all of our goal to be as happy as we were in our youth. And you're still young, so I'm so excited to see, what's next for you and for Irie Kitchen. And tell us a little bit about the mastermind. You have applications are open now, and I know that launches this fall.
Yep. So Irie Lemon is a business that I do with Liz, and we just launched our mastermind. And a lot of it, for me at least, my side of it is really just a good place for entrepreneurs to kind of like have that emotional therapy side of it, because it is lonely, right? And so we want to surround people with people who are around their level that can give them value, but also they can ask questions with, right? And I think Liz has a lot of value that she can give, and I have perspective as well. And so it's really about community, really about building community. I've gotten a lot of questions about what's it going to look like, how many meetings it's going to be. You know, it's not that big of a commitment on the other side, but it's a lot about having a Facebook group you can talk to, things you can run, and it's like a trusted group of people, right? Or I'm struggling with this, who else is struggling with that? I think those kind of things are what people like us need during warrior times, right? We're going to be slaying dragons right now, and we need people that we can communicate with.
Yeah, 100%. I always say it is a necessary expense to build into your business is to have a mastermind of some kind, and that will adjust throughout your seasons of business. Like for a while, I was on a very fast growth. I was building a team. So I was in that type of mastermind. As I'm making a transition, now I'm looking at where's the right fit for me to mastermind. So if you don't have like a coach or mastermind or community of people, definitely check it out. You guys have your applications are open. Where is it at? Over at?
So we're building the website. So they're at Irie Lemon, but you can DM Liz at the Lemon Bowl, or you can DM me at Irie Don. And that's what a lot of our inquiries have been coming through. We have a form as well, a Google Sheet. Yeah. And like, you know, like if you're interested in it, like come by. Like we love to have conversations. We're trying to build a really nice first group, right? We're trying to make this beta group people that are like really like high growth, focused, who just want a community, right?
Yeah.
Who are thriving right now. We don't want anybody who's like, you know, not thriving. You know what I'm saying? Like, right? Like, we want people who are like.
You only want winners. People that want to win at least.
People who want to win. And like, it's really much so like emotional therapy, right? Like,
yeah.
Half the things you deal with is like things you've dealt with your whole life that are affecting your business, right? Like we can give you the tactics, but those are all Googleable, right? Like you can Google how to grow your SEO, right? What really it is like, oh, you suck at having clarity. So let's help you with that. If that's going to help you with your goals, and that's going to help you find what you need. And I think you need a community of people doing those kind of things for you, not necessarily, like post 3 times on Instagram. Like that's Googleable. We can figure that out.
Yep. Well, people can hear more about our conversation, and if they're a fellow Enneagram 3 or they struggle with that winning mentality and that balance in the podcast we did together with Irie Lemon podcast, hop over there. And the final question to wrap things up, Vincent, if we come by the Irie Kitchen or we're buying it online soon, what is the one thing we need to order and try?
Okay, so if you're vegan, get the vegan sampler. And if you're a meat eater, I would say if you're adventurous, get the curry goat. If not, the jerk chicken. And you must.
Goat?
Yeah, curry goat. The curry goat is no joke. Yes. And look at your face right now. You're stunned. It's amazing.
I want to have a goat farm. I'm going to keep you far away from my farm when I have it one day.
Wait, no, you got to like give me a couple of them. And cook it up.
If my goats are going to go missing, I'll be like, Vincent was here.
But yeah, I definitely took the little one. Yep, I definitely took and cooked it up. No, but yeah. And also thank you for coming on the Irie Lemon podcast. That's like one of my favorite episodes. And I re-listened to it and definitely helped me cope with the winning. It was a blessing and a curse, right?
Oh, yeah. We're going to revisit. And I'd love to see as things progress with your transition. And let's revisit this. So when you're spreading the curry goat love around the entire globe, we're going to.
There we go.
Thanks so much for hanging out and listening to today's episode. If you were inspired by what you heard, I'd love if you shared it on social, give it a 5-star review on iTunes, and spread the word. But more than being inspired, I hope you're motivated to take action. Remember to just start. Take those steps today to get to where you want to be. And if you're ready to take your business to the next level, head on over to gethappypr.com and check out my agency and what we can do for you, or connect with me over on Instagram at Emily Richett. That's Emily, Richett. See you next time.